No one in the village of Kewa had ever heard of such a thing. A woman giving birth and not making a single sound. Before we continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel for more captivating African stories. In Kewa, childbirth was never quiet. It was loud, raw, and impossible to hide. Women screamed, neighbors gathered, elders listened from a distance, and life announced itself the way it always had. Noise meant the child was alive. Silence meant something had gone wrong. That was why, when Mira went into labor and the night remained calm, the village noticed. Mira lived at the edge of Kewa with her husband Jaro, a quiet man who farmed cassava and spoke only when necessary. Mira herself was gentle, observant, and known for her calm nature. She greeted everyone with a soft smile and rarely complained, even when life pressed hard against her. When her labor began, the moon was high and steady in the sky. Jaro expected screams. He expected cries. He expected the neighbors to hear. Instead, there was only silence. Mira sat inside their hut, breathing slowly, her hands gripping the mat beneath her. Sweat ran down her face, but her lips remained closed. Not a sound escaped her mouth, not a cry, not even a groan. Jaro knelt beside her, panic rising in his chest. Mira, he whispered, you can cry out. It is allowed. She shook her head gently. Outside, the night insects continued their song, unaware that something unusual was unfolding. Hours passed. Still, no sound. By morning, a child had been born, alive, clean, alert, and the village was already whispering. When the news spread, it reached the ears of the elders before the sun climbed high. Elder Baku, the oldest among them, felt a tightening in his chest when he heard. A woman does not give birth in silence, he said, not unless something is wrong. The elders gathered beneath the old fig tree at the center of Kewa. Faces were serious, voices were low. This breaks tradition, said Elder Senna. Pain demands sound. Silence hides things. Another elder nodded. Spirits favor silence. Humans do not. By midday, they sent word for Mira and the child to be brought before them. Mira arrived, carrying her newborn, wrapped carefully against her chest. The child did not cry. He did not squirm. His eyes were open, calm, watching everything. The elders noticed that immediately. What is the child's name? Elder Baku asked. Tari, Mira replied. Elder Senna leaned forward. Why were you silent? Mira lowered her eyes. It was safer. The elders exchanged looks. Safer from what? One of them asked. Mira did not answer. That was the moment suspicion took root. In the days that followed, the village watched closely. Tari did not behave like other babies. He slept little. He watched constantly. And when he began to speak far earlier than any child should, his words unsettled everyone who heard them. At 3 months, he spoke names. At 6 months, he spoke events no one had told him. At 1 year, he spoke truths the elders had buried. One afternoon, as Elder Baku passed Mira's hut, he heard the child's voice clearly. The land remembers, Tari said. Even when the people pretend not to, Elder Baku stopped walking. Fear crept into the hearts of the elders. They began to meet more often, speaking in careful tones. This child carries something old, Elder Senna said. Something that should not have returned. He speaks like the ancestors, another elder added. But without permission, the village began to treat Mira differently. Neighbors avoided her. Children were warned not to play near her home. Some whispered that the silence during birth had allowed something to enter the child. Only Jaro remained unchanged. He watched his son grow, listened when he spoke, and felt no fear, only confusion and quiet pride. Then one evening, Tari spoke again. This time, it was in the presence of the elders. You took what was not yours, the child said calmly, and you buried it without words. The elders froze. No one had ever spoken of that night. Not openly. Years ago, before Mira was born, The elders had made a choice. They had hidden a truth to protect the village's image. They had silenced a matter that should have been spoken aloud. And now a child born without sound was given it voice. Panic set in. The elders decided the child was dangerous. He must be cleansed, Elder Sena said. Mira begged them to stop. He's not a curse, she said. The silence was protection. Not for him, for you. They did not listen. That night, the elders performed a ritual meant to strip the child of what they believed possessed him. They spoke loudly, chanted forcefully, and tried to overpower the quiet that surrounded Tari. The child did not cry. He did not resist. He only watched. And when the ritual ended, the village changed. The river slowed. The crops failed. Sleep became difficult. The elders realized something had gone wrong, but they were too proud to admit it. Days later, Tari stopped speaking. Not because he couldn't, because he didn't need to anymore. The truths had already been released. One by one, the elders began to fall ill. Not suddenly, not violently, just slowly, as if something was being taken back piece by piece. Elder Baku was the last to understand. The silence, he whispered to Mira one morning. It was messy. Mira nodded. You mistook it for danger, she said. And now the village must live with the noise you created. Kewa eventually returned to routine, but it was never the same. The elders' power faded. Their words carried less weight. And people began to listen more carefully to pauses, to quiet warnings, to things unsaid. Tari grew into a calm young man who spoke only when necessary. And Mira remained known as the woman who gave birth without screaming. Not because she was strange, but because she understood something the village did not. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is protection. And sometimes when silence is broken by fear, the truth becomes impossible to stop.